Hello and welcome back to the Beta Show. Today we're going to be talking about the concept of double binds. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't sort of predicament. And this is how people like this get you trapped and coiled in their complex mental traps, and then they convince you it looks good as a necklace. You see what I mean? Double binds, in short, are damned if you do, damned if you don't. I'm going to reference a video that I watched. I'm going to put it down below. And if you resonate with this message, I truly would advise to listen to this video because he has a very eloquent presentation of a concept that I want to display here. But I do want to tell a story. The Knight of Pentacles coming out, and we'll leave that aside. We're going to get 3 cards. So we're going to do it that way today. See, you can't say no to these people. We're going to do it that way today. They're not going to get angry. A lot of them are going to take note and play the long game with you. Once these types see those who use mind manipulation and tactics, once they understand, oh, you're actually kind of like a harder nut to crack, they will play the long game with you. They'll play the long con. These people are con artists. They're scammers. And they're liars. And they're snakes. And I actually love snakes for transformation, right? I love snakes as a symbol of transformation. And that's what these sorts of experiences have there's an invitation. If you find yourself in one of these double binds, there's always the invitation to transform through these. Because situations like this where you feel caught between a rock and a hard place and you feel like there's no way out and you have to actually out-manipulate these sorts of people. We'll call them people. I look at them as entities, with the moon at the bottom of the deck. A lot of these people, and I'm not a doctor, a lot of these people are Luna. A lot of these people are I love when I see the person that I love in pain. So, and that's the truth with the Ace of Swords. And I take pleasure in breaking the nuts, male, female, non-binary, however they identify, of the people that try this on others. Because I've learned a few tricks of the trade along the way dealing with people like this. And I've picked up the mentality of these people. And God has, judgment, called me to Ace of Swords, speak out on what's in the darkness and what lurks beneath in those murky waters. I'm seeing a crocodile. Crocodiles are symbols of they go under the water. They only put their eyes above the water like this. They're very mysterious. You don't see them coming. You don't know that they're taking notes on you, that they're observing you. That's who these people are. My brother Mitch came to me in a dream. I loved him. He tragically passed away from a drug overdose. And he came to me in a dream. And let's leave these 3 out. You know what? No. We got the message. Let's get the 3 cards. Let's stay on task. These people also, what they want to do is they want to get you off your original plan. And if they can't get you off your original plan, if you're a tough cookie, and I'm going to get to the dream. If you're a tough cookie, they will take the time, especially in the love bombing phase, to get you to talk all about yourself, seem really interested, and the whole time they're taking notes. It's not about you. It's not about that they're interested in you. They're trying to figure out where your weak spots are. They're trying to see, do they have mother issues? Do they have father issues? I know that some of us as empaths, because we are very, we trust that the world has hope in it still, right? We think that sometimes these things are a little bit outlandish, or they seem kind of like crazy or out there. Queen of Swords. This is a message for people that just want to put this in their back pocket if it ever happens, because empaths usually get in these kind of tangos with energies like this, just in general, especially if you're like a divinator and you read cards, or you're into astrology, you're a spiritual person, you're a shaman, you're a healer. These sorts of energies, Three of Pentacles, they will actually try to work with you, because they want to glean what you know from you, only to turn it back around on you, steal what you have. They're thieves. They steal the wisdom that you have. And then if you call them out on it, they'll say, "Oh, I'm the one who taught them that. They're just a Page of Cups. They're just a very simple-minded individual, and bless their heart, actually, they don't have a degree. I know 5 doctors as well that I can get to recommend me at my word," because these sorts of people, they're very intelligent, and they've spent many, many years creating these connections. It's like a web. Spider, another totem animal for today. So we've had snake, we've had crocodile or alligator, it's the theme. And now we've had spider. Spirit might show you those totem animals if you're dealing with somebody like this. So pay attention to that, because you're this, right? You're a wise person, right? No matter where you are on the spectrum. And they will, if you try them in a public square, they will turn the whole thing on you and make you appear to their yes men around them that you're kind of juvenile. You're kind of like simple. You don't really know what you're talking about. Oh, bless their heart, right? So this video is to help us put up boundaries against these people. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but I want to tell you about this dream. My brother Mitch, after he died, came to me in a dream, and he turned his back to me, and on his back, he had his shirt off. On his back, he had these tattoos on him, and he didn't have tattoos in the 3D world before he died. He didn't have even one tattoo, but he had this tattoo down on his lower back, and it was a crocodile, and it looked kind of in the style of like a totem. It looked kind of like, the world's coming out. Again, I'm not going to take pop-outs, but let's look at this for a second. This is perfect. It's like these animals here, or these beings, These beings. It's like those totem. Hold on, let me look it up. Just a moment. Looks like this totem pole sort of design, in that style. And it was on the bottom of his back, and he was warning me about a person. And it was all different colors. This crocodile, it looked kind of like this Worlds card, actually. It had all different colors on it. Yeah, he warned me about that a while back. Because this is the thing, if I've learned something about narcissists, and this is not just about narcissists, these are narcissistic entities, and even if the person you're dealing with isn't a narcissist, they can have ties, cords, etheric connections to these narcissistic entities, and I'm calling it that for today. I am not a doctor. I need to find another word so that I can talk about this and use the word narcissist without somebody coming to me and being like, well, you're not a doctor. You can't diagnose. I'm talking about demons, all right? I'm talking about entities. I'm talking about people that will play the long game with you. So what I've picked up is, play it right back. Take notes for the next time you run into somebody like this. We need to be wise as a serpent and gentle as a dove. That's what Jesus said. And he dealt with people that killed him. So that's an extreme side of the spectrum, but I do believe that empaths, light workers, and it's not just light workers, it's shadow workers too. I use the term light worker. Again, I gotta find other terms to use. I just use it because we know what we're saying. This is all the channeled message, guys. I'm not just rambling. I'm talking to people that understand the light and the dark and work with both and are open to that. Three cards. You'll find that when you're dealing with people like this that I'm talking about today, 1, 2, 3, you'll find that these people, they use something called a double bind, which is a damned if you do, damned if you don't. And the video that I'm referencing this story from, will be down below, pinned to the top of the comment if you're interested in watching it. We have the 6 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck here. They want to trial and error with you. Remember what I was talking about here? And for a lot of us, these are people from like past lives. With the Wheel of Fortune, these are like karmics, and we call them karmics in our community, right? But you know, these people could have been, I'm hearing prisoner of war. These people could have been like really your enemy in a past life. They could have you in a past life. And then in this life, they're like your boyfriend. To me, karmic is not like, oh, karmics mean that they're going to be like a jerk in a relationship. No. I mean, yeah, true. But like, this stuff, this goes deep and it gets dark. It's like imagine your enemy. What would be the most evil thing they could possibly do to you? They would make you believe that they're your lover, only to turn around and stab you in the back. You know, some of the greatest crimes of passion, you know, people say that the veil is very thin between love and hate. And people who stab another 45 times to kill them, very unnecessary. The person would have died after just a couple stabs. But why did they stab 45 times? Because it's a crime of passion. Hate and love can be very in close proximity. And that's many times why we feel a very deep connection with some of these karmics, is because you have past life karma with these people and your ancestors are dripping in blood. You know, it's like these past versions of you are crying out from the grave in different timelines, these versions of you that still exist, because time is a circle, it's not a line. So it's like right now, 2024, we could be experiencing something from 104 BC, a version of you that lived in another time who was brutally murdered by somebody. And then in this time, 2024, they come cloaked as like your boyfriend off Tinder, and it's like, why do I feel such like a deep, dark connection with this person, or a deep tie, or a deep soul tie? Well, it could be because on a subconscious level, you actually feel like you know who this is somehow. Now, that's not always the case. I'm a 12th house stellium, right? So, I always go to the darker side of I swing the pendulum to the more extreme side of the spectrum. But this is a flavor that you can bring the scale over to a more benign part of the spectrum, and this can still apply, just maybe in a more minor sense. Like, why do I feel such a strong connection to this person that treats me like crap and they like cheat on me and stuff? It's like, this stuff is deeper than it appears, right? And that's really my message today. So they're going to try you. They're going to test you. And one of the main ways that they're going to test you out to see what is this person's resilience? How much can I get away with? What are their weak points and weak spots? Like these people are masters with micro expressions, but so are we. People who like us who have grown up in abusive situations. Like, I'm somebody that I would very, very closely monitor my father's expression, like in his eyes, like the crow's feet on the side of the eye. I would see, was that side twitching? Was the side of the corner of the lip, was that twitching a little bit? How's dad doing today? Because it's a state, I'm not a doctor. It's a state of hypervigilance. And you can look up all these words for yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's not about self-diagnosing, blah, blah, blah. If you need help, please go seek a doctor, seek a therapist. Because I'm not one. I'm just a girl who's known a lot of narcissists. And not just narcissists. Past life upon past life upon past life criminals. And I've looked into the Akashic records and I know exactly who you are. So some of the way they will test you is through something called a double bind, and I'm going to use this as an example, and I'm sorry that it's taken me 17 minutes to get here, but clearly this channeled message, this was the opening, so we got to go with what we want to go with. And if you're here, you're here, and I thank you for those of you who are here, and those of you who connect with these messages. You know what I'm saying? You're a tough bunch, right? You're a tough bunch. Even if you're just somebody who's dealt with snakes and you're like, why do I keep dealing with snakes? Well, so there was a Zen master. And this Zen master, this is the reference from the video that I have down below. This Zen master was holding a stick. This is an example of a double bind, what these people will do to you. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't. You're going to lose regardless. It's a lose-lose. It's a win for them. Always. They'll set it up to where it's always a lose for you and it's always a win for them. But actually, it's a lose for them as well because they messed with the wrong person, right? Because we're highly protected. So a Zen master is holding a stick. And this Zen master says, now you have two options. He gives two options. He says, now if you say that the stick is real, I'll hit you with it. But if you say that this stick is not real, or you don't say anything, I'll hit you with it as well. So whether you say if the stick is real or it's not real, you're still going to get hit. So this is the parable. So one of the students walks up, takes the stick and breaks it in half. The only way to get out of a double bind with some of these masterminds, and, I'm giving them a lot of credit by saying that. And part of it irks me to even give them that much credit, because these assholes are laughing in prison after slaughtering people and children, and they're just smiling and smirking. I'm a mastermind, I'm a mastermind, I'm a mastermind. Judgment Day always comes knocking. Hope you're not a cockroach in the next life that I can step on with my red bottoms. Or maybe I do. The way out of a double bind is to break the stick. You don't take the bait either way, because what a narcissist will do, like this is an example. I saw somebody write this in the top of the comments of this video that I referenced down below. Somebody said, my mom, when I celebrated her birthday and I made her birthday really nice for her, my mom said, don't celebrate my birthday, or it reminds me that I'm old. So then next year, the child didn't celebrate the mom's birthday. And the mom said, how dare you not celebrate my birthday? That's the example of a double bind, where it's like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you try to comply with these people, they will punish you. If you try to rally against these people, they will punish you. So these are complex mental equations, and some of these people are geniuses, because I'm seeing like high level equations on the board behind me. Again, I hate to give these assholes credit, but this is a belief that I hold. There's high level evil and there's high level good. Good, evil. It's all relative. So let's open these cards. We need to break the stick, because that's the trick. That's their trick. They give you two options, right? And they're both the wrong answer. And that's how they get you. Because there's no such thing as that. There's no such thing as two answers in life. They're just presenting it as such because they're presenting themselves as a godlike figure to you. But they know nothing. Card number 1 is the Four of Wands. Back to this Wheel of Fortune. And the Six of Pentacles, truthfully, because this is a card of reaping and sowing seeds. Like, see how he has the scales? This can be a card of karma, right? So this is past life stuff. It's like, what do these people get out of this? It's like they don't even know. They're operating, my opinion. I was watching this girl talk about, master manipulators, narcissists, the dark triad, psychopaths, sociopaths, people like this, from her own experience. And she was talking about, hold on. Just a moment, guys. Can't remember, because that's another thing that these people do. They break you down, they beat you to a pulp to where you can't even remember your own name. It causes like brain damage. I'm not a doctor. It causes brain damage. It's like it causes you to feel like you can't put two and two together. There's a feeling of disorientation. People call this brain fog after you get out of a relationship with one of these people. Four of Wands plus Wheel of Fortune to me equals karmic contract, right? And this can be a beautiful energy as well. This could be like somebody you were married to in a past life, you know, and you're going to reunite with them again, and it's going to be a beautiful relationship. This is like a soulmate, right? But in these cases, because see, this is how they trick you. These look like beautiful cards, right? The hope and the promise of that. But in the reverse, and this is what they use reverse psychology. They use mind tricks and manipulation. They love bomb to make you feel. I saw somebody say, what did they say, Spirit? It was something like, when you marry one of these people, the reality is, once you're married to them, you realize you married a person that doesn't exist. Because these narcissists, they're not real. You know, the things that they... And you'll see that in the devaluation phase, where they devalue you to discard. And this has happened to me multiple times. These people will feel like kin to you. Because maybe they are. You know, maybe they were a family member in a past life. Maybe you were married to them. Maybe they tried to take down your throne. You know, maybe they were your rival. Maybe you fought against them in a war. Maybe your parents were rivals and, you know, you were caught between them or whatever. You know what I'm saying? This stuff is not random. My opinion. Card number 2 is the 9 of Cups. See, this is how I'm seeing it. This is them. 9 of Cups is a card of self-satisfaction. These people are, to call them selfish is an understatement. In the reverse, this card can be the card of like a drunkard. You know, this is somebody who overindulges. For today's purposes, this could be somebody that drinks your essence, your blood, like an alcoholic drink, and is drunk on you. You know, these people, sometimes we can get fooled because it can feel like they're like obsessed with us, you know, they're, especially in the love bombing phase, like they are, maybe you have a lot of sex with these people. A lot of these people are addicts, you know, a lot of them are sex addicts, a lot of them are drug addicts and alcoholics and stuff, but not always. Some of them are sober and sharp as a knife. And I've dealt with a couple of those, you know what I'm saying? So it looks like their record is pristine. They have colleagues that recommend them. You know, these people are master manipulators. Not everybody, right? You know, some of them are way sloppier. Some of them are super sloppy. And this is part of this is where we can put the stick in the spoke of their bike wheel. Stuff like this. And unfortunately, these people make it so hard to get away from them. They play all these, I'm seeing that spider web again. It's like they create these elaborate traps over time so that it's too late once you realize what they are and who they are, once the mask slips down, because it will inevitably. They can't stand to play this character for very long. Once you start to see like into the trap, it'll be too late for you to get out because you're a bug trapped in the spider's web. But these people do have, you know, especially if they're more skilled, they become so cocky that they do get sloppy with stuff. They have like a god complex. They feel like they're just unmatched. They're unstoppable. They have all this protection around them. You know, they've spent many years creating those firewalls around them, so to speak. So they know, they have like 5 backup plans that, like, if this person comes forward saying this about me, you know, I already befriended all of their friends. I became best friends with like their brother and stuff like that. So that if this person comes forward and says, oh my God, this person's abusive, this person's crazy, this person's mind manipulating me. I watched a girl talk about this the other night. And these people will make it, and they do all this during like the love phase so that anybody would feel that way. Yes, I want to introduce you to my friends, my siblings, my family, my coworkers. Like, these people will come into work. They'll come in with a bouquet of roses in front of everybody. They'll be very charming, sexy. You know, they'll make an appearance. These people are very showy. They're very grandiose, especially the grandiose narcissists. And there are vulnerable narcissists, and those ones usually have like addictions, like drug addictions and stuff. So they use their I'm an addict and I'm just trying so hard and you just can't this and you just put me down when I just keep trying and trying and trying and trying and trying, and you're the only one that's ever been there for me. And you're so evil. And then they will turn around just like this in a second. After they put on that entire show, they wipe the tears away. And they're totally fine. These people. They're magicians. They'll make sure during the love phase, when you're like, this person's like my dream, like I've dealt with so many past narcissists and so many like abusive people. I grew up in a toxic home, and you've told them all this stuff, right? Because you've poured your heart out to them. They made you trust them. Like, they played like the Prince Charming, they played the Princess Charming, they played the let's have raunchy sex 5 nights a week for like 5 months, to where your chakras, your sacral chakra is all connected, and in the meantime they're like harvesting that. Even if they are not somebody that believes in energy and energy manipulation, they on some level understand that by fucking you, they're gaining something from it. And it's like suddenly their money's getting better. Suddenly they're having all these great ideas at work. Suddenly, like, all these women or men or whoever they're into are suddenly interested in them. Because these people, they could be anybody. And a lot of these people, they swing both ways. You know, you'll find that, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm queer, right? Anyways, I'm just saying, I'm not saying anything about that. I'm saying, but you'll find that, because for them, it's not about sex. It's about using sex as a means of control. And so they're connected to you, these etheric cords. Because for some reason right now, this orange circle, this is looking to me like the sacral chakra. Excuse me, the sacral chakra. I'm gonna go get my coffee. Just think about that for a minute. Let that think about it. You're laying in bed after you just had sex with this person. You're looking into their eyes and they're saying all these things to you. You're the most beautiful person I've ever seen in my life. You're so sexy. Like, you turn me on like nobody has. I couldn't ever do these things with my ex-girlfriend. She was kind of like a prude, and you know, you do the things, you just do it like nobody else does it. There's nobody like you, and there'll never be anyone like you again. In my experience, these people use sex to attach on a very deep level that can't quite be put into words, but you'll feel it. You'll feel it down here. I'm gonna get my coffee. So delicious, so juicy, and the more innocent you are, just like for these P words, the more innocent you are, even if you're a grown person, it's like with these P words, they love them young. The more innocent you are, the more loving you are, the more juicy you are to these people. And they will suck you dry. And they'll take your money. And they'll sleep with your sister just to fuck with you. Just so they can hoover and bring you back in again. To do it all over again. Oh, maybe I was wrong about them. Maybe it was just my childhood trauma that made me not want to love, and it was all a misunderstanding because they told me it was, and, you know, all of their friends came in and talked to me, and we went out for wings together, and it was all just a big misunderstanding, and they're just going to do it all over again. And they'll do it as many times as you let them. And for some of you, for the rest of your life. Because in that video, tragic, he talked about, it's linked down below, he talked about his mom. And she was just evil. She was just evil. And at the end of his father's life, even when his father could barely speak, she was abusing him. These were people that had been together for years and years and years and years and years. And even in his final breaths, the son, the man who was putting the video together, wrote letters to his father. And every single time the letters came in, the father would the mother would attack the father, and the mother would say, you know, all these terrible things and pit the son and the father against each other. You know, she was a narcissist. All about her, even when her husband was dying. So the son said, "Dad, it kind of seems like every single time I write to you, it causes more harm than good, and I know you're going through so much, and I love you, Dad. What do you want me to do?" And the dad's silence said enough, because he didn't know how to respond. And in his moment of sobriety, the father, he said, "Your mother is a very sick woman. These people, they'll play the long game. They'll play it for 40 years. And even when you're dying on a hospital bed, it'll still be all about them. Look at that smile. Because things are juiciest when they're darkest. It's like the more afraid somebody is, the juicier it is for these entities, because many times these people that they're pawns, they're being used. They are not right. We had the moon at the start of this, right? That doesn't mean that we're making excuses for people. I'm just saying my opinion. I believe these people are inhabited. You know how people talk about reptilians and things like that, right? Well, that's up for you to decide what your beliefs are on all of that. But for me, you've never seen an eye, like a dark black eye of a narcissist when they're smiling in your face while you're hyperventilating and crying and just begging them just to give you not even love, just peace. Because these people, they experiment with you like a lab rat. It's fun for them. Well, for the entities that they're feeding. And they have to feed them. These people always need a new supply. Why did they just cheat on me and get a new supply? Like, why did they love bomb me? Then they devalued me, made me feel like I was nothing. High, low, high, low, high, low. They get you addicted to that energy. They get you addicted to the drama. They're conditioning you. It's like Pavlov's dogs. They're conditioning you. They're grooming you. You could be an adult. You don't have to be a child. You can groom an adult child. I mean, you can groom an adult, but they look at you as children. We had the Page of Cups, remember? They look at you like you're just so easy in more ways than one. And you could be an empress on the front cover of Sports Illustrated. You make more money than them. Doesn't matter. They will bring you to the highest mountains and bring you to the depths of hell the next week. That's who these entities are. They will devalue you and they will discard you like trash. Sure, they'll go sleep with your sister. They'll go fuck some girl, some guy. I'm saying girl because a lot of these people are men, but I've seen it in women. I've known a couple women, and I've dated women who are. And I've had family members who are women who are. It's my opinion, but I don't think it's only psychological, and I know that we've put these things to bed with modern psychology. You know, we used to believe that everybody needs an exorcism, you know, when we did lobotomies and stuff like that. I'm not talking about that, guys. I love psychology. I've spent many, many years reading, researching. I was going to become a psychologist, and I became a minister instead, right? Where I got no respect or accolades or money or any of that. That's okay. God had plans for me. And we have one more card, and I'm going to open that card, but the complex part of all this is that these people, their conscience is so seared that it's like it's numb. A lot of these people actually don't have empathy. So the crazy part is like, and this is where it comes in what I was going to say. I'm a Virgo stellium. I'm very logical, right? But I'm also a 12th house stellium, and I do believe that there's more to this avatar than meets the eye. They are connected to these dark entities that are feeding off of you. They're feeding off of the victims that these people choose. So during the discard, what they'll do many, many times is they'll go, fuck somebody else, right? And then it'll make you feel like shit, obviously. Then they'll cycle back around. These people always cycle back around, right? And they'll just do it all over again. And since you're still kind of addicted to that up, down, roller coaster, take you out one night dancing and the next night slap you across the face. Oh my God, what did I do? You didn't do anything except exist. These people hate you. The more you love them, the more they hate you. Card number 3. You can always break the stick. And I would say, be careful. But break their dick, even if they're a woman. And you know what that involves? Self-autonomy. You can find your way out of these traps. You can break the stick. You can break their ego. I would not recommend trying to break their ego. Like, in the context of you still live with them, you're reliant upon them, they help pay your phone bill, they help pay your half of the rent and shit like that. I would take a long approach around the back end, strategize. 7 of Swords, I would strategize behind the scenes how you're gonna get out. Don't try to break these people's egos. They will torture you. They will torture you if they figure out you're trying to escape. All right? I'm not trying to scare you. And please, 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 if you have help, if you can stay at your sister's place, if you can, if you can afford rent on your own, if you can stay at your parents' house, if you can go stay at an Airbnb, if your credit is bad and you can't get an apartment, you can get around this stuff, guys. You can stay at Airbnbs. They don't do credit checks. If you look it up, you can stay at an Airbnb for a month at a time, and I know it sucks. Some they have longer, but even if you have to bounce around month to month at Airbnbs to get away from this motherfucker, I would. But please be careful. Please be careful. Please be careful. And if you're not alone, I would get as many people as possible to help you, right? But if you happen to find yourself alone, because that's what these people do, they isolate you from everybody, / they befriend all of your circle so that the circle that you're surrounding actually even ends up liking them better and taking their side, so everybody thinks you're crazy. And they they come and they sit with your friends. Oh, I'm just so worried about Melissa. She's just been acting so differently, You know that she, her dad was abusive and her whole story, right? How she built that ministry from the ground up and she was doing really well. And then she had a mental crack of some kind. And, she, instead of calling it a spiritual awakening, they'll call it this. And she lost her mind, actually. You weren't there, but I was there. And I saw what happened. And she just stared at the wall blankly and she didn't look right. And, she kind of was really having a hard time. You know what it would be like believing something your whole life, believing that she was a Christian, and then she had this mental break of some kind, and then her brother died, and I'm telling you, these people, they fight dirty. They convince all your friends and family that you're the problem so that you have nobody to turn to and nobody to run to for help. Card number 3. The Hierophant came through in my last reading. I think it's just connecting the strings to that one first and foremost. Let me look for a second here. I think I said it briefly at the start, but do you see these keys? See these keys? These are initiates. So they're being initiated into like a higher spiritual authority dimension, right? I said this slightly in the beginning, and this message might be sensitive, it might not be for everybody. Let's get out the TW clown, trigger warning clown nose. Right? It's not funny. Right? But this is the thing. You can use these people just like they used you, but in a totally different way. You can play the long game too and use this experience with the darkness as your dissertation. This is giving me the feeling of, when you're giving your dissertation, like it's just those people, it's very like stuffy, they're like hierophants, and a hierophant doesn't have to be like a pastor, right? It's somebody that has like authority. This could be like a dean of a school, the panel of people where you come and you present your dissertation or your thesis, depending, because I think the higher in the UK is the thesis and the dissertation is the highest in the US, regardless. Say you're becoming like a psychologist, say you're getting your PhD in theology or something. Use these people as a case study. Because they're looking at you like you're a page of cups. Write your screenplay. You know what I mean? Use them just like they used you, but they're using you. They're addicted to you, right? And not in a fun way, like, oh, I'm so like obsessed with him, like so obsessed with her, like love hanging out. No. They are stalkers. They are pedophiles. They are, and energetically, they don't have to actually be, but it's the energy. If you slide the scale a little bit over, they have brothers and cousins that are sitting in the park right now, making friends with the mothers. Oh, little Johnny, is that your son? Yeah, that's my son, Johnny. They look like a nice old man, right? Sitting on the bench, feeding the birds. Makes friends with all the mothers. This is them. Oh, I'm actually collecting cans of soup for the soup kitchen that I volunteer at. Would you like to be a part of that? Little Johnny, hey, would you like to help your mom bring some cans over to the food bank? All the while, they're licking their lips, looking at little Johnny. It's an energy. It doesn't have to be that extreme. You could be dealing with somebody who is connected energetically through their web, so to speak, to people like that, though, to energies like that. Let me say energy for the sake of today. These people, they look, a lot of the time, they make themselves look like they're these upstanding individuals, You know what I mean? They surround themselves with people that are, you know, especially if these people are in like politics, if they're in religious circles, like if they're in the church. Why do you think there are so many stories coming out about popes and, you know, I'm saying popes. I don't know. Why did I say that? Why did I say that? Because I wasn't going to say pope. That's a real higher up, right? These people like choir boys, let's put it that way. Right? And you could be dating somebody who's not that, but their energy is intertwined and connected with entities that are attached to people like I'm talking about here. Does that make sense? That's why they're so dark. Because you might not be dealing with like a demon like that directly, but their friends are. In the 5D, of course. Because it's like, when you look in their eyes, why do they turn black? That would be my first question. Why are their eyes so soulless and black? You know? Why do they need to find the most innocent, loving, empathic person to drain them of their life force? You know? I've looked into this, phenomenon specifically when it comes to people who are autistic. These people, it's like they actually target these people. They're sick. So let me close on this. This is how we get back at them. We don't get back at them directly. We take every single thing that we picked up and learned, and we use it. We engulf them, transmute that evil energy into our initiation into a higher level of spirituality, a higher level of wisdom. Remember, we started off with that hermit. See, they know. They know what you're tapped into, just like we know what they're tapped into. So engulf them, energetically speaking, and transmute into your own higher level spirituality, because you're going to run into these people. Bigger level, bigger devils. Right? God save the queen. It's been Missy Gordon, the Meta Mystic here. Thank you, everybody. Leave your comments down below, your experiences, your tips, and I will see you on the next one.